give a proper introduction to our speakers. Brett's got a pretty long history with Eddie here, and Brett, you don't need to share too many stories. Keep this kind of G-rated, okay?
Keep it really short, really short and sweet. It really is my honor today to be able to introduce actually both of our speakers, just because I know them, all right? Not because I'm anything special, but I just know them. So, and I've known our first speaker, Eddie Nichols, it's been close to 33 years, Eddie. That's what I was thinking. That's a long time. So like I said, close to 33 years ago, Eddie took an interest in me and invested in me, and for literally we've had a relationship, and he's been investing in me ever since. And it's not just me that I could say that about. Countless other folks. Pam sitting in here, and she's another one. There's just so many people, and then probably there's other folks in here that could tell stories about how Eddie has invested in them or in their children or even maybe their grandchildren, and that's what he's been doing. Eddie was like another father to me. He's been the guy that I learned how to do ministry from, how to really do ministry, how to love people, how to care about people. And that's what he continues to do through Breakaway, through the Dream Center. I know the Dream Center was something that Eddie had started talking about even back when I was still working with Breakaway, which was quite a bit ago, and now seeing it come to fruition and seeing how it's impacting the community is a huge thing. Eddie just embodies what it means to love the Lord and just living it out in front of everybody else. He's not perfect. He'd be the first to tell you that, but that's the beautiful thing about it. You get to see Eddie just love people with the love of Christ through an imperfect person, and it's just the most awesome example of ministry. He's one of the most awesome examples of ministry that I could ever point to. And so I've just been truly blessed, truly thankful for Eddie, and the impact he's had on my life and in the lives on others, and what he's taught me and shown me, like, this is how you do it. And so let Eddie come and just share what's going on right now with Breakaway and with the Dream Center. Appreciate you, Eddie.
I think I'm going to put this up today. Yeah, we did go back a long way, don't we, Christy? Woo, I remember those times we were traveling 11, 12 o'clock at night and those phone conversations going back and forth. Elliot, I look forward to hearing from you, brother, because it's been about 40 years since I was involved as youth pastor at First Baptist Gadsden with a dude named Dave Brooks. And Dave and I did ministry together back when you weren't supposed to do ministry together. And we had some phenomenal days. Matter of fact, Partridge let me talk to him on the phone the other day, and it's been a long time. But it's exciting to see the ministry is still not just going, but that it's flourishing. And I appreciate you and appreciate your heart. I know Brett and Christy do a tremendous amount of work in that as well, so I'm looking forward to hearing the update there. The Megyn Kelly Dream Center. A lot of times people have thought, why did you name it Megyn Kelly? Because, we don't think much of her. She's on the news anchor and all that. No, it's not that Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly was my niece. She lives in Andalusia, or did. She was 19 years old when she passed. She had cancer for a couple of years, just devastating cancer. And I would go from time to time to see her and be honest with you, get a little depressed because I kept praying for healing. And it just didn't seem like it was coming. And I remember January of 2015, I drove to Andalusia by myself, and I went in to see her, and her mother opened the door, and she said, "You were so excited that you've come to heal my daughter." And I said, "Donna, if I could have healed your daughter, I would have done it a long time ago. But I've got something I need to talk to your daughter about." So I went in, and Megan was sitting there, her little bald-headed self, all brown and green from all of the treatments. And it'll break you when you see that. And so I got my composure, and she said, "Why'd you come for?" And I said, "I need to run some crazy idea by you and see what you think." And she said, "All right." And I said, "Look, I don't know if you're going to make it or not. I'm praying every day that you do, but I want to tell you something. In the event that you don't, God has stirred my heart for the past few years to do something called a Dream Center." And I began to explain to her at that time what it looked like. And she said, why would you name it after me? And I said, baby, because these past few years have been probably the toughest of my life. When you begin talking about a vision that God gives you and it doesn't make sense and you can't analyze it and you can't figure it out, people, including your family, sometimes think you've lost your mind. And every time I go into a meeting with government officials and they laugh at me or they call me a fool or they think I've lost my mind, or friends that I've had that have gone by the wayside because they thought I've lost my mind, I keep remembering that smile on your face and the impact that you make in my life when I face these walls and I want to quit. But I don't have cancer. I've just got a calling that God's called me to walk a journey, and if I have to do it by myself, I will. But I'd love to be able for your legacy to continue. And she said, you do that for me? I said, oh, no, you've done it for me. And so we called it the Megyn Kelly Dream Center. She died a month later in February. And people come, and I'm telling you, there's a huge picture there of her with a story. And I bet you 90% of the people that come into the Dream Center have read that story. You see, there's two things that happen when you die. Your legacy either dies with you or it carries on after you're gone. And I vowed to her that your legacy is going to continue. Even if you're not here, people are going to know who Megyn Kelly is, and the love that you had for people and the love that you have for your Lord, and the fact that even in the midst of the greatest pain that I can't even imagine, you had that smile on your face. So that tells you a little bit about what the Megyn Kelly Dream Center is. And you know, I could sit here and talk to you, but my son Josh did one of these videos. My other son Jonathan did the other video. And they probably speak more about what we are, what we came from as we tried to put this Dream Center together. So if you would show that first video for me, okay?
I remember almost 9 years ago, sitting across from my dad and him explaining to me that he had been given this vision from the Lord, that he was supposed to start a church or create a place where people from all walks of life could come and just simply be. There would be no denominational preference, no racial barriers. He said he just wanted to make the phrase loving God and loving people become a reality to the people that needed it in Gadsden. So he started everything off by initiating a weekly program at a church in the downtown area where every Tuesday night we would bring in over 120 inner city kids, teenagers, and young adults. All we did was fed them pizza, played basketball with them, skated around the gym with them, and we spent time sharing the love of Jesus with them. It was an amazing program, and it looked exactly like what my dad had envisioned. And so I remember the disappointment in all of our hearts when the Lord decided that it was time for that door to close, and the program was forced to shut down. There were several months where we had no idea what the next step was. We had no facility, had no consistency to offer the people in that community, and we had no funding to solve any of the problems that we were facing. But I know that although at the time we didn't have a whole lot, my dad always had the faith to take the Lord at his word and to trust in his providence. After a few months, the city of Gadsden agreed to lease out an old school building that was not being used at the time, and we were certain that this was going to be the place and the time where everything started to finally make sense. However, after months of trials and negotiations, we ended up getting the old Boys and Girls Club that sat on the other side of the road, while the city used the school building for one of their projects instead. The first time I walked into this building, I remember feeling defeated. See, the school building that we had prior was in bad shape, but it was nothing compared to what I saw when I looked around this place. See, here, it was gonna need a brand new roof. There was mold all over the walls. There was just garbage laying in the floors. Ceiling tiles were falling all around. And as I looked around, it honestly looked extremely hopeless. But for 4 years, I watched as my dad would bring in person after person. He would walk them through the doors of this building and explain to them the same vision that he had explained to me years before. And as he did this over the years, person after person contributed money or prayer or labor, until now, after 9 years of watching a man wrestle with doubt and defeat and continually coming out on top, I get to stand in his corner and witness the work of God firsthand. What was once only a vision has now become a reality. And the one who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills has provided blessing after blessing for what has now become the Megyn Kelly Dream Center. The harvest is plentiful and the laborers are few. And although the doors of the Dream Center are now almost officially opened, we know that our work has only just begun.
And to know what we're able to accomplish in that community. You see, everything that we do, we have a saying that we believe by investing in the life of a child, that we can change a community. Because once we invest in the child, we get to invest in the mom, we get to invest in the aunt, we get to invest in the grandpa. Every once in a while, there's a dad that finds his way in. We get to invest in them. And by doing so, we can reach a community, and that's what we've done since 2018. We've reached a community. Our goal is to reach the city. And that includes churches around the city of Gadsden and individuals. But right now, let me tell you just a little bit about what we've got going on at the Dream Center. Our after-school program, by the way, back there, there's a table. And on that table, there's some flyers there that tells you the numbers that we had in 2024. We make these available to the mayor and the city council for accountability, to let them know what we're doing. It lists the programs we've got and how many people came. It's almost 20,000 last year alone came and were part of the programming that we do at the Dream Center. That's so much bigger than I ever thought it would be, to be honest with you. It just happened so fast, and it just shows you the faithfulness of God if you're just crazy enough to follow his leadership and what he calls you to do. Our sports leagues, we just finished up with our basketball leagues. These kids can't afford $150. They can't afford $50. Matter of fact, we charge 10, and some asked, could they pay 5 this week and 5 next week? And we just said, don't even worry about paying anything. I know well enough to know what happens to kids if they don't get involved in something and feel good about who they are. This is a developmental league. There's traveling, there's double dribbling. Matter of fact, some of the kids sometimes just grab the ball and run down the field with it, the court with it, and back into people. And but it's developmental, and over the course of that time, you'll see from day one till the end of the day how they've developed. It's a blessing to me to watch the parents come out. Now, they're the ones you have to deal with because they get kind of aggressive in there and all that goes along with sports. But we have the basketball programs. We have indoor soccer that kids get to participate in. We've got our 2 fields that are phase 3 that we've almost completed with soccer for these kids, outdoor soccer leagues that we're going to form in the summer of this year. But the biggest thing that we do at our after-school program, and we'd fail miserably if we didn't do this, is to center everything that we do around Jesus Christ. I'm too old to play that game, so we don't take federal funding. It's because no matter what they tell you, once you start praying and once you start telling people about Jesus, especially if they heard that we baptizing some kids, they'd come after you. And I'm not going to play that game. So we just believe that my God's big enough that he can take care of every need that we've got, and he's done that. He's done that, and he will continue to do that. I know that. So we do big Thanksgiving celebrations, just like the Christmas one that you saw. We give them all turkeys. I know that sounds crazy, but I want to give them something when they come, because we also teach them about Jesus when they come. The kids come, they make things in arts and crafts all about Christ. In the basketball, we have prayer before the games. We talk to them. Our concession stand looks just like a concession stand. But if you knew the times when the moms and things are coming and spending time with Sonia and them at the concession stand talking about problems they've got. Andy just alluded to one. We've got a family, and I know this is live stream, so I can't go into a whole lot of detail, but I do know that their food stamp card, EBT card, got hacked. And it was over $800, and they have no food. And I was telling him we're meeting in the morning to discuss how much or what we can do to help with those needs. A lot of times, the families that we deal with are not just typical families. It seems like if something's going to happen to a lot of the families that we deal with, it happens to them. And so we do all we can to reach out and help, whether that's rent sometimes, but also let me say this to you. One of the reasons we're meeting tomorrow is not only to find out how we can help, but how we can stop that from happening again, so it doesn't become a reoccurring thing over and over. We want to see the parents come to know Jesus just as much as the kids. We want to see them know how to love the Lord and how to share that and almost make it a discipleship type thing where they share with their peers and their families. Then we do the back to school was kind of unusual this year. We partnered with Freedom Church, and it was pouring down rain and lightning like crazy, and we couldn't open the doors. As much as I wanted to open them, you know how that is, Brett. You open them before, they stand in line for camp and wait to get in. I want to open them and let them in because it's so hot in that thing at the Blue Horizon. But we couldn't open the doors as usual. And I looked out the door and I saw as far down, you wouldn't know exactly what it is, but it's probably a quarter of a mile down to the rescue squad from our building. Pouring down rain, lightning like crazy, and these people are standing in line waiting to come in because we've got food for them, we've got clothes for them. And I will say this to you, I got the mops and mopped as much as I could. Then I went and got towels and T-shirts and anything else I could find because I didn't want people falling down because as they're coming in, it's just puddles of water. But the most beautiful picture there was not the number of people that were getting clothes and food. It was the fact that I looked outside in the rain and there were volunteers sharing the gospel, praying with these people off to the side, standing in the middle of the rain and the lightning. And I just said, thank you, Jesus, because that's what we're here for. We want to do food. We want to help them with these things. But man, if we pass on helping them find the answer, the person that can change their life, we fail miserably. And we need to just shut our doors. So we're not going to do that. We're going to keep preaching his name and keep seeing people come to know Jesus. And hopefully they'll make a difference, helping us make a difference in the community. Yesterday, I was telling Andy, he said, how's your health doing? I said, oh, it's all right. I'm a little tired right now. We had a Hispanic day of worship. They use one of our soccer fields. And most Saturdays or Sundays, there's 100 to 200 Hispanics. They set their tents up and cook. It's like a fair. And they play out there. And we let them do that because we want to inroads to their lives. And as a result, over the past year, they've asked us, could we come in and do a weekend retreat? So we had a men's retreat. Could we do a women's retreat? So we did a women's retreat. Now, there was one stall for women, okay, because this was a boys' club that we were in. So there's a lot of stalls for guys, but one stall for women. And we got, if they're going to stay there for the weekend, we had to get these showers functional, which they weren't. They are now. But we had to develop another bathroom for women. And we completed that about 2 months ago and got it done. And when we announced it during the basketball season, all the women stood up in there and clapped. They were so happy because those lines of just waiting, to get in. We don't really have any more room. We've taken every room that we've got and we've turned it into something positive. And so we're out of room on that side there. I will say this to you. The Hispanics that were there, I met them at 5:30. I told Andy, I said, good gosh, 5:30. So I'm over there, 5 o'clock, getting everything ready. They're coming in at 5:30. And this was Youth Day. I didn't know what to expect, but there were probably 70 young people, about 130 total people there. And I couldn't understand a word they said. But as I saw their hands lifted and them walking around, I knew the tune to the songs, and it blessed my heart to go, this is what this building's for. This is what it's for. We're going to reach this community with Jesus. And I don't have to understand Spanish. I know Brett speaks a little bit. I speak nada. I mean, I can count to 10. That doesn't do me much good, but I can count to 10. But I'm feeling the presence of God in that place. And I just sat back as though we did worship just a minute ago, Jeff, and I just praised him for what he allows me to see and be part of. Now, we had basically 4 phases. And if you come into the Dream Center, which I invite you to do, I'd love to show you the 4 phases because we're in phase 3. It's almost completed. The old rodeo field out back, the soccer field over behind the old field house, they're almost done. Matter of fact, by this summer, we'll be having leagues out on those fields. And there's 4 phases. The 4th phase, I think I'll save for you for another day. That's going to be a big one. You talk about somebody that doesn't know how to do that. I have no idea how to do it, but I know where God's leading us with that. And that's going to be a game changer, not just for the community, but for a whole lot of people as we work to see God bring that to pass. My other son took a video of phase 2. Phase 2 was to take the old Emma Sansom field house next door. And as bad as it stunk, because it was a field house. Partridge went there with me the other day, and he remembered he couldn't come over there much because he was Gadsden High, so that didn't happen. But those old black mats in there, I took a guy on my board, Taylor Wiggins, and he said, "Where are we going?" I said, "I want to show you this building I think God's going to give us." So he said, "What is it right now?" I said, "Well, it's an old field house." And we opened the door, and he said, man, how much further we got to go in? And I said, "Well, I want to show you the whole building." And he said, "If we could bottle this smell, we'd be millionaires, because COVID could never exist in this environment." It was pretty rank. It wasn't as bad as the Dream Center, but it was pretty rank. And I began to show him all that I wanted to do there, about a thrift store, about a parent resource center that we could have to work with parents, to have counselors there, to have social workers there. And we were walking out, and he said, "Man, how do you come up with this stuff?" And I said, "I don't. Trust me, I don't. I can't even see." When we were talking about building a house, my wife would get so mad because I couldn't see. I said, "I wish we hadn't put why didn't you tell me?" I said, "Because I couldn't see it, until they built it." It's totally different when God leads you. He gives you a vision, and you see it as clear as day. Nobody else has got to see it. But my job is to let you see it through the words that I say and the excitement in my heart that God's got something super planned for that community and hope for this city. This is the second video. I'll let you watch this one.
As 2025 approaches, the Megyn Kelly Dream Center will have officially been open for 7 years. Since 2018, we've had one focus: to show the love of Jesus to the community around us and offer a place of safety and of hope. Our after-school program has given kids the chance to learn about Jesus while having fun with their friends and even getting opportunities in sports they would have never had before. However, the plan was never to stop there. 2 years ago, we received the keys to the old Emma Sanson Fieldhouse with the hope of one day offering this community something unique. Fast forward to today, and what was a building full of old jerseys and workout equipment is now the Birchfield Commons. On one side of the building, we have our thrift store called Too Good to Be True, where 90% of what we have in store is brand new, yet entirely affordable to the families in our community. On the other side of the facility is a Family Connection Center. It's a space that offers help to families experiencing hard times, from counseling to job finding opportunities, and in the near future will offer help with legal and medical needs as well, all for free. So why do we do this? Because we believe by investing in the life of a child, you can change a community. And that takes time. But please watch and listen to this next part, because years of investing in the lives of these children can and will make a difference.
I did it for my mom, my dad, everybody in my family. I did it for God.
I am thankful for my family and my home and what God gave me.
I'm thankful for God. I'm thankful for my parents, and I'm thankful for everybody who's in my heart.
Thank you for God. Thank you for my whole family. I'm thankful for God. I'm thankful for Jesus dying on the cross for us. That's it.
So what you see there is the second phase, and it's completed. We do, when you saw the mental health, there's counselors that are in there that are working with anger management. We're hoping to get social workers in the near future in there. A lot of big plans for that building. But we can't do it without volunteers. We can't do it without help. And that's what I wanted to talk to you this morning about. We got three main needs. The first is definitely volunteers. We've got to have people, and we can't do any more than we're doing. We want to start a Wednesday night church service for our kids. It's disheartening sometimes when you realize that these kids don't fit into church. And I don't mean that critically. I've gotten over that frustration. My wife is a psychologist, so she's a realist. And when I complained, she said, "You just need to quit fussing and do something about it." I said, "Well, okay, we're going to do something about it." So we met with a couple of churches here 2 weeks ago, and we're going to start our own Wednesday night church for these kids. You see, my heart bleeds for them because they don't get the opportunities that we got. I mean, when Brett and them were in the youth group, they shut down the fellowship hall and moved us to the back because, they were a little bit rowdy. And then they shut the doors so they didn't have to put up with all the noise. But you see, these kids are a little different. And I believe that they have the chance to know Jesus Christ just as much as you and I do. And we want to make that possible for them. So we need volunteers to be able to pull these programs together. Finances are always an issue. No matter what ministry you've got, finances are always there. And we're always in need of financial help. Matter of fact, I don't know much about what's back there. I know about writing a check and stuff like that, but these people that work with me, we've got scanned codes back there and Venmo and all these things. I couldn't even tell you how to use it. I'm sure you know how. If you don't know how, Andy knows how. He's techno smart, so he can show you that. But we'd love for you to be able to partner with us. And it helps us more if you can do it on a monthly basis. If you want to do a one-time gift, the Venmo is the way to go. The monthly giving would be the other scanned barcode. The third is prayer. Now listen, you may not be able to volunteer, and you may not be able to give a dime, but we covet your prayers. Prayers are what brought this to pass. Prayers are what are doing. Everything that we're doing has been bathed in prayer. Brett will tell you, even when we do youth camps and stuff, one of the things we did was pray for people before they ever came to camp, because, see, I'm a big believer that nothing's impossible with God. And so prayer is huge to us. So I would ask you to do that for us. Let me close. I have a board. It's Andy and Taylor Wiggins, and it's Tommy Goggins and Cheryl Cornutt. And we meet whenever it's convenient for Taylor, literally. But I couldn't do what I do without them. They don't understand most of the time. They just have that gaze look on them, when I'm mentioning something. But they're always so committed to helping us make this happen. The truth of the matter is, there was a song that you put up there, Jeff, that spoke to my heart, because 2018 is when this video was shot. 2018 is also when I went through probably the roughest time of my life. I had 5 eye surgeries in a year and a half time on this right eye. So as good as I was at basketball, I'm not anymore, because I have no depth perception. If you throw a baseball at me, it'd probably hit me before I could know where it hit. But during that time, I had 2 of the kids that were in that video to die, one by drive-by, and the other one ran off the road at 3 o'clock in the morning and killed himself. I had a mom that we'd promised to take. It's a long story, but I'm not going to share it. It's just a mom up in the hood, and she wanted to know one day when I was going to be able to share Jesus with her like I could her boys. And I told her, there's a thing coming called the Dream Center. She never got to see it, and that was frustrating to me. I didn't get to go to her funeral, nor did I get to go to the funeral of the young man, because I'm laying face down for 8 days after that eye surgery. And I can't get up, and it's hard to explain to the family why I can't be there. And that wore on me a little bit, because I felt like I was letting them down. But let me say this to you. While I'm laying there feeling sorry for myself, I just began to pray, and I think, God, we got to get out of this. We got to get through this, and I don't know how to do it. And I hope I can remember this, what he put on my heart. It was like this. It went, though blindly I'll walk on a path I can't see, on this journey I'm on where no one walks it with me, where doubt and depression grow with each step I take, and I find that my faith's becoming weak and my fear's becoming great. And as the waves overcome me and the strong winds increase, I hear a voice right beside me. Command the wind and waves cease. And as the waves subside and the winds disappear, now great is my faith, and gone is my fear. And I'll walk on through this storm, and I'll walk on through the wind, and I'll walk on through the rain. Though my dreams be tossed and blown, but I'll walk on. Yeah, I'll walk on with Christ by my side, and know I'll never walk alone. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you.
Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate you. Everybody go check out the Dream Center. If you haven't been there, go check it out. I promise you'll be blessed just to see what God's up to over there. Our next speaker, I also know. I've not known him as long as I've known Eddie because he's not been alive that long. Yeah. So anyway, but several years back, so Christy and I have been involved here involved with Young Life for about the past 18 years now. So it's been going a little while. And several years back, our regional director said, "Hey," got with our committee that was functioning then, and said, "Hey, we can probably get a full-time area director back in Gadsden." We had kind of kept things alive. Shorty and Stephanie were leaders. Gordon and Julie were leaders, all through different seasons of their life, and they kind of just helped us keep everything running. And he said, "You know what? We had grown ministry-wise," and said, "Okay, it's time. We can get a full-time guy back there." And I remember Christy and I talking because we had all this vision of like trying to reach some of the folks, getting into some of the communities that what Eddie's doing with the Dream Center, some of these folks that weren't reached and everything. So we had our vision of what this area director might look like. We thought, man, maybe this is going to be an older guy, person of color. Elliot's neither of those, all right? If y'all can see, now I will say this, he is a much older soul than he is in years, all right? He's a little old man in a 20-something's body, which is awesome, and we love that. Elliot has been a huge blessing to our family, to this community since he's come on. He's really taken all of the stress, actually, that I had, and he has it now. So I don't have any stress from being involved with Young Life. Poor Elliot has it all, gets to do all of the stressful things, worry about all the stressful things, and I just sit off to the side and just tell him, like, no, don't worry about it. You know, it's no big deal. It's going to be all right. So that is no, but he really is a blessing. He is married now. They've got a new baby, who is awesome. So we're just really we're thankful for Elliot, how he's come in and invested in the lives of young people. I mean, and like I said, getting to see him at work, after a little bit, Christy and I were like, okay, this is exactly what we needed. That's just up to the thankful for the Lord's sovereignty in that, and not necessarily listening or to what we think and what we thought might be best and everything. So Elliot has been the best for our area, and so now he's going to come in and give you the official word on what's going on with Young Life here in our area.
Well, hey, yeah, my name's Elliot. I'm 30 now, Brett, so I'm in my 30s, I guess. Yeah, forgive me. I've been up with my 3-month son. I was up with him a few times last night. He's like ripping his passy out right now, and so I have to hold it in his mouth until he falls asleep while he tries to claw it out. I don't really know why he's doing it, but that's my strategy right now. It'll probably change tomorrow. But I just want to introduce myself. So yeah, I'm Elliot Probst. My wife's name's Tori. She's at work right now at Rainbow Presbyterian. She's a children's minister there. And yeah, this is my 7th year in ministry here in Gadsden. And Tori and I love Gadsden, and we want to raise our family here and be here long term. It's been a blessing. I didn't know, I'd never been to Gadsden until my interview here. So the Lord, you know how he works. He gives you plans you never could think up. So it's been an amazing 7 years. And I want to thank y'all as a church for supporting Brett as long as you have. And then for the ministry itself, we're lucky in Gadsden to have so many mission-minded churches, and y'all are one of those. And we're so thankful for all the members that have been involved, like the Partridges in the back, and Tamara and Brett, and all the ones before I even were here. So y'all have supported us so well. And we've actually, we're celebrating 45 years of ministry in this town, which is pretty amazing. And you can see one of our first camp photos to the left, and then our most recent camp in December kind of shift. Anyways, all right, what's the next slide? Okay, so our mission is to doing whatever it takes to reach high school kids and get them face to face with Jesus. And y'all know Brett, and there's me, and that's what we do. All right. And contact work. So contact work is just going to their turf, is what we like to say. We go to their turf so that we can earn the right to be heard, is one thing we like to say. We want to love them with no agenda attached. So many times adults, whether they're, this is how kids interpret it, I guess. They want something out of them, wins or losses, or good grades, or this is the pressures that kids are feeling. And we want to love with no agenda attached, and we want to earn the right to even listen to them before we can make friends with them. And once we've made friends with them, we want to obviously share what's most important with us, and that's the love of Jesus. And you can see some photos there of Brett and I. Brett coaches football at Gadsden City High School, and I coach tennis at Gadsden City High School. And so we're on campus every single day, getting to know kids, loving them where they're at, and hopefully inviting them into a life with Christ. Young Life Camping is a big thing, probably the thing you might have heard about with Young Life if you don't know a lot about it. And once we've developed good relationships with kids, we want to invite them to one of our amazing properties that we have in North America. We have like 24 camps in North America, plus many across the world. We're in over 100 countries these days. But I like this line here, like we take kids out into God's creation, away from distractions. We take away their phones so that they can have the best time of their lives, but also just think for themselves. I feel like the devil is very crafty these days, and just so much noise, that they can't even process or think for themselves. And I think Young Life Camps do a really good job of providing that for them, giving them space to talk about their lives in cabin time away from all these crazy distractions these days. So I want to show a few numbers from camps over the last this past year. So we just got back from Sharp Top in December. I was there after just being in the hospital a week before with my baby, and we had an amazing time. We took 54 kids, 53 from Gadsden City High School, one from Southside, and we're reaching a lot, thanks to Brett's ministry with the football team, we're reaching a lot of kids who can't afford camp. And so we've been gracious to have donors to provide for them opportunity to go to Sharp Top and go to different places. And we took, I think, 10 on scholarship to that trip, and just a couple stories, and I won't name names, but we had one kid who was shot and almost died in the hospital, and we get to walk through that with him. Another who just became a dad, like a couple weeks before I became a dad, as a junior in high school. And his buddies kind of gathered around him and prayed for him. Another kid who's kind of bounced around different homes because of just crazy family situations. And just even the kids that seem like they have things together, when they finally get a place to talk and finally get a place to understand that someone's going to listen to them, they open up about all kinds of stuff. And we're able to navigate that with them, but also point to the one who can give them the everlasting love that they're searching for. We also took a few to Colorado last summer, and then we took a few on our freshman beach trip, 16 in May. And then right there is Young Lives. YLVS is short for Young Lives. We have so many acronyms and things, and Young Life is confusing. But that's our ministry that we mentioned earlier, that is for pregnant teens and teen moms in our community. And we started that about 3 or 4 years ago now, and you can see a picture there. All right, what's the next slide? Okay. I also want to just, instead of hearing from me and my sleepy self, I would love for y'all to hear from some of our students. So we'll watch a video from some of our Young Life students first.
I think Young Life impacts our school with having to invite other kids to come with us and having them come every week after they go for the first time.
I think that it brings a lot of kids in that maybe wouldn't, like, it wouldn't be their first option to go to like a church setting like that, and it's a welcoming environment with other kids their age, so they like it.
I found out about Young Life through Coach Ellis. With football, he our strength and conditioning coach, and he would tell us come to Young Life on every Thursdays. And my first time going, I got actually very comfortable with the guys. My first time there.
It makes it easy to talk about things you're struggling with and to really settle down and talk about the Bible and how to put it into your life.
I love all of them. I mean, they've always been there for me. Anytime I ask them for anything, they'll do it for me, or they'll at least try. It's somebody that you can actually go to when you're having problems, or if you have questions about anything, you can just talk to them about anything, really.
I was playing Young Life like you going somewhere with your friends. Like it's like a vacation for real. You having plenty of fun. You can meet new people. You somewhere safe, taking care of you, and you're just talking about the Lord.
It's made my faith a lot stronger with being able to read the Bible more and getting into church and all that stuff more.
I've been close to the Lord, but not like that. So like I went to church like every other Sunday, or either like that Sunday and skip 2 or 3 weeks and then go again. But when I started going to Young Life, I would go on Thursdays, and going to Young Life is like opened me better to go to church. So now I often go to church. I rarely miss church now.
And that's a little glimpse from our students. You know, sometimes when people hear about Young Life or ministries outside of the church, they're like, that's what, they need to be in church. Well, it's like, yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Our whole goal is to bridge the gap for kids so that they may one day be a part of a church body that takes care of them. And I think Young Life has really been a place for kids to feel more comfortable. And even kids that necessarily, might go to church on occasion or are just totally uninterested. I think Young Life kind of helps them get back interested again. That was the case with me in South Georgia. I was a part of a youth group, but it was my Young Life leader and their passion with the Lord that I started to take church more seriously after that. I do want to talk about Young Lives. So we've had it for 3 or 4 years, like I said, and we took 4 girls and 4 babies to camp this last summer, and we're just growing and growing and growing. I think we're up to like 7 volunteers now, and we're having more and more girls and their babies come, and we have a once-a-month club at Rainbow Presbyterian right now, and it's just an amazing ministry. So I do want you to hear from 2 of our girls that went to camp this last summer and their story with Young Lives.
I would describe Young Lives as just like a home. It's super comforting. Like, I always feel so happy when it comes to the time around of us meeting each other. And I just feel like there's so much support, and I feel like everyone just loves our babies. So it just makes it feel like home.
I think it's like a second family, and everyone is really there for each other. If I ever need something, I know I can count on these girls. Not just the group leaders or just, I just think just even getting to notice other girls and the babies, it's it helps us learn from each other.
It makes you feel like you're not alone. And I remember when I was gonna first walk into when I first got invited, I was so scared, and I was like, what if like the leaders are rude? What if they like are judgy? But it was not the case. Like as soon as I walked in, they were so welcoming, so like invested like in me, and it just made me feel seen, and it was very nice. I think especially at our age, like I feel like friendship is very important to us still, even as moms, but it's hard to find people who you can actually relate to when you do become a mom. I had very few friends in general already, so when Helen invited me to Young Lives, I was nervous at first, but everyone made me feel welcome, and no one was judgy at all. Like I became friends with all the girls, and even the group leaders, like they were always very nice to us and made us feel very welcome. Summer camp was like a very great experience. Like I just loved like everything from like the start like to the finish. And what was very like beautiful to me was like all the things we should appreciate in life was all around us. So I felt like it just made me see everything so differently. And then like I was so like happy just to like just feel loved and seen by not only like all the people that were there, but also like knowing that the presence of God was there. I was like kind of like a little away from him at that time, and I feel like that just like awoken something in me again. May I add, cabin time was very great too.
Yeah, I love
it. It was amazing. Yeah, like that really made us like we were all just able to like speak about our feelings, and like we knew that that we could be vulnerable in that time, and like we knew that each of us were like there to support each other. So that was very great.
I think camp was a beautiful experience because it also helped us learn that we can have fun even after we've had our babies. I feel like at the time when I went to camp, I was also very distant from God, and whenever they talk about this stuff, it feels like you're in a judge-free zone, because I feel like a lot of times what we have trouble with is that we think as teen moms like maybe we're not going to be accepted in church, we're not going to be loved, we're not going to be, and that's not the case when we went to camp.
I don't know, I feel like I always would have just felt like unaccepted and like judged, and like I would have seen everyone else and I would have been like, oh, like they don't know like what I'm going through, and I would have just, I don't know, I feel like I would have felt more alone, and like in the sense like, because like with Young Lives, like we had those girls to relation with, and then like in high school, like there's girls that are just thinking about partying and this and that, and it's just like I have a whole different perspective, and then like I lost a lot of friends because I can't do the same things that they want to do, and I'm obviously not going to leave my son to like go do these experiences. So I just felt like I really just, it made me see like priorities, and I was just like, hey, like I'm not alone, and like all of that doesn't matter. Like what matters is my son and me.
Yeah, I think I would have also felt very alone in the sense that no one else would understand me, or no one else does understand me. But getting to be with these girls, or people who are just understanding in general, like our group leaders, they don't judge us for what we do or who we are, and that's what I love about having Young Lives, is because I just feel accepted by everyone around me.
I mean, ever since I came back from Young Lives, like I've been attending church like every Wednesday and Sunday. Sorry, I go Wednesday and Sunday. Like, I take like I'm taking like classes as well. So I just feel like it like really did like make me want a relationship with him. So, yeah.
I think going to camp really helped me feel loved, and it made me feel like I shouldn't I shouldn't be worried about anyone else's judgment or what anyone else has to say when I do go to church, because at the end of the day, he's the only one that matters. So I also started attending church every Sunday after camp because I used to really worry about what everyone else was thinking about me, and I think that none of that matters anymore.
So that's hearing from two of our girls, but you know, these girls are cast aside. Sorry. And so many of these kids are cast aside, even in young life. I think I've cried every time I watch this video. So I better call up Tamara. Tamara, come save me. She helps a lot with Young Lives. She's organizes our child care meals for their club and is very involved. And she can tell you more about what's been going on this past year in the ministry.
And I'll sit up here and cry with you. Yeah, watching that, I hadn't seen that. But I know those sweet girls and get to spend time with them each month and got to spend time with them last summer at camp. And I think that what just stood out for me, because I had not seen that yet, is something I was going to share with y'all, is that these girls feel judged. They don't have anybody they really trust. Some of them have good family situations, some of them don't. Some of them, the dads are involved, and most of them, they're not. They've had a lot of people abandon them, and but they're hard workers, and they're trying to make the best life for them and their babies, and outside family if that's available. And a lot of them, you heard them, I feel judged. There's not a place for them in church, and that breaks my heart to think that they would feel that way. But that is something that was shared with me when I first got involved, was that we want to find a church, church families where they feel welcomed. It's a different situation. They're the age of our youth group, but they're coming in with babies. So truly, how do you think that makes them feel? And I've been so blessed to be part of, you see, some of our meetings, we do crafts and we eat dinner and we just have fellowship time, and building those relationships with them and having that fellowship and just being there each week and seeing even the mentors that are involved, and that it is a safe place for them, that they let their guard down and they laugh. And I've heard hard stories, I've heard fun stories, and we've gotten to love on their babies and gotten to support them and get them connections to get work. We've got one that actually, she is not aged out yet, and she is graduating from Gadsden State in May with an associate's. She hasn't aged out yet, so we have been able to keep her as part of, in the program and help her through that. Just to give you a quick snapshot, I know that all of y'all have heard about the club meetings and Young Life and Young Lives, but to give you an idea of what a meeting looks like, we get together the second Tuesday of each month. We have some ladies here have brought in dinner. Rainbow Prez ladies bring in dinner. We meet once a month, August through May, and we take June and July off. So, but we still will get together over the summer, and then the girls also have camp. So we eat at 5:30, and it's just a time that we sit together and enjoy our meal together, and then the kids go upstairs to childcare. We do some kind of hands-on activity, because when your hands are busy, conversation flows, and that is an opportunity to build those relationships. So this year, some of the things we did, I had somebody come in that taught them how to make sugar scrub and facial care stuff. We did cookie decorating, we did canvas painting. Caitlin came in and talked to the girls about nutrition. Kathy's actually going to come in next month and talk about basic first aid with them. This month, last week, we just painted flower pots and planted seeds, and that's so simple. But those activities allow for that fellowship time. And then we end with devotion time, where we're just constantly, pouring into them. Tori talked to them last week about the storms in life, and Jesus calms the storm, and that, we're just constantly helping them know that they are seen and they are loved. And you heard them talk about that in the video as well. Anyway, I don't know the things that we need. If you feel so led, we always would love somebody to come in, and if you have something that you're, like Kathy talking about medical stuff and Caitlin talking about nutrition, or if you have a gift that you want to come in and share, if it's cake decorating, flower arranging, or you just want to do a craft with them, please get in touch with me, because we've got a lot of meetings to fill that time with. We always need help with food, dinners. If you want to prepare just a casserole and a salad and even a dessert, it doesn't even have to be that fancy. We always need that. We always try to feed about 20 is what our goal is. Assisting with childcare. This past week we went through, I don't even know how many people we asked, and it was just, we're always needing people for childcare because it's hard to find people to come. And then the mentors cover, they do the devotion time. But it really is, we're growing, and it has just been such a blessing to love on these girls, and it's been, I guess, eye-opening is not really the term, but I have personally grown so much since being involved with this, that I've been able to kind of see where maybe I look at somebody differently, or I get too busy in life and don't really look around me at needs and brokenness. So God has been chiseling away at areas like that, and I have just been so privileged to get to know these sweet girls, and we're helping one right now who is facing homelessness in the next couple weeks. She is expecting, and just being able to pray for them and with them and see them grow in their faith, and also just trusting that there's a lot of brokenness with their ability to trust, because they've been let down, and they need to know that they can trust the Lord to take care of them, and to put people in their path to help them. So I have rambled on. But if you feel so led and want to get involved, just reach out to Elliot, reach out to me. Our last year we'll meet April 11th and then May 13th, and that will be our last meeting before we start back up in August. But camp is the end of July 21st through the 25th. And so if you're interested in that, also let one of us know, and we're happy to share that information. Okay. Is that good?
Sorry, I know y'all are probably hungry. So y'all can scan this or mail if y'all are looking to give financially. We're going to have to, we're going to scholarship a lot of kids for camp this summer and next fall, along with just basic operating needs. We're obviously in need of financial partnership, but the biggest thing we need is prayer for these kids. The highest form of arrogance is ministry without prayer. I love that quote. I don't know who said it, but I like it. So y'all be praying for us. And if you want more information, just find one of us, and we'd love to talk to you more about it. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much for speaking with us and presenting your ministries to us this morning. What a great privilege to have you, Elliot, and you, Eddie, here to share with us. We're just thankful for the opportunity to be able to come along beside you and work with you. James 1:27, pure religion and undefiled before our God and Father is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. And then Isaiah 52:7, how lovely on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who announces peace and brings good news of happiness, who announces salvation and says to Zion, your God reigns. And that's what these two ministries are doing. They are ministering to those who need ministry, those who are very often overlooked. And we just thank you for what you do. And I just pray that y'all will consider ways, and that we as a church body will consider ways that we can be a part of these ministries. And I'll say a closing prayer, and then Jeff, y'all close us up. Doxology sounds good. Lord, we thank you for your goodness. Lord, I pray that you just stir our hearts to love others well, Lord, and to look out for ways in our own communities and in our sphere of influence to bless you and to bless others and to